Because this track is already in the curve that I need exactly, I'm digging a trough and I'm going to bury it and mate it to the rest of the module. Then I'll cut that seam. I have the track laid all the way to the switches here. Switches are glued down. I still have to go through and smooth them out and clean them up. They seem to work just fine. Recycling them. Here's your joint, your module joint, and I have it loose right now underneath, so as you see it's going up and down. But that can be adjusted and clamped and that sort of thing to get it even. Now, I only have a few pieces of flex track left and I want to save those, but I do have this rail that I pulled off old modules. I wasn't able to salvage the ties. But I'm going to use these and hand lay the track in this section here. That's what I'm going to do today. And in doing so, I have to cut ties. Get it? Cut ties? I know it's loud in here. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm laying a piece of flex track down so I can mark the edges of the ties. Now this doesn't have to be perfect because it's supposed to represent old track, like a yard track. See, that's realistic. A pile of ties. I don't know how many that is, I didn't count, but that's what I'm working with right now, and I'm going to cut some more in a little bit. I'll go ahead and run some tight bond glue on here and start laying the ties. I left the ties out of this area for now because I'm not sure how I want this radius to go to connect here. So once these dry and I can get the rail on there and I can see what the best angle is, I want to make sure I have enough clearance here so I can get 3, maybe 4 cars in there. And it's nice I had just enough ties left over. I'm gonna have to cut some more to go this way, but I'm not sure where that track's gonna go. There's an industry there. So in theory, an engine and a car have to be able to fit in here to shove that way. But over here, I was thinking a rotary dumper inside a building, something like that. Did I mention that I switched the whole layout around? Like now this is going to be the other end and that's going to be the other end. Does that make any sense? I think the coal mine might be down there. I don't know. But this is getting exciting. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The transfer table. That's going to be a little bit wide. It would hang over if I left it on there. So I ordered a turnout, and when it comes in, I want to see how that works, because if I can use that, then I can make a small, or I should say narrow, fold-up bridge area that has a turnout on it and room for the locomotive to get around the cars. And if I can do that, that's going to be a lot more streamlined than messing with that. The other bad thing is, I didn't realize when I cut that thing apart that that was actually the bridge track for this that I made, I don't know, a few years ago in a video. It's been a couple hours and I think the ties are sufficiently dry where they're not going to move around when I start poking spikes into it. So I have a piece of rail set out here and I'm going to kind of run it down, line it up, and then I can use a gauge. Once I get going, it goes pretty fast, but it's a little monotonous. All right, This little contraption here is a coupler height gauge, but it cradles the rail here, so it works great as a gauge. I got some joints here I gotta file down, a little wacky, but that's what it looks like so far. All right, there's my joint. I could have done better with clipping a track, but it is what it is. But it's time to get this transition here to the siding. All right, now's a good time to show the comparison between track and just ties. We're gonna let this dry here. See, here's the hard part about this, is when I pulled these things up, it messed up this whole little thing. It boogered it up, so I might have to file that down a little bit in there. We want to get it nice and smooth, and that is a little bit higher there. I'm going to have to put some heat to it and push it down in and then kind of sand it down a little bit. All right, so this is where we're at after a couple days of work. And I know this looks crude right now. I filled it in a little bit. It'll all get covered up. So basically, we went from no peninsula, having one industry over there, which was thought to be a coal mine. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 industries. Run around track over here. Right now we have the turntable, but that may get switched out for this turnout and maybe a small little table with a tail track. But as of right now, my thinking is this is a town area. You go through the mountains there, another town area there, and then down at the end you'd have a coal mine. So in theory, you could bring live loads from the coal mine out here to the rotary dumper. So I might build something. This is all hand-laid track here. It looks pretty good. I spaced the ties a little farther apart than here, but I like the way it looks. And I'm thinking a bunch of buildings and industry, trucks, cars, machinery, that sort of thing. And again, this peninsula here can detach. And as you see, I have a quick coupler here. My magic foam there. And it's kind of like quickly wired. I'll straighten all that out. Don't mind my Spock fingers. Make sure she's all lined up. Another neat thing about this is I can take a temporary backdrop and put it on either side of this peninsula for photo shoots, that sort of thing. I think it's going to be nice. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I'll start working more on this hopefully tomorrow.